Whose mic isn't on? I got one mic not on. Whose mic's not on? Yours?
Yeah. Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right.
All right, we're gonna be going in, down, and. All right, we're starting in 5. And we're back. This is the Add Me to Your Playlist podcast. Y'all know what it is. I'm Shaggy Dashwood. I'm here with Professor Oak, DJ Cabby Slow, and another special guest, floating voice, is Mr. Shaolin Fat Backwoods, a.k.a. Mr. Backwoody Harrison. Y'all go ahead and say what's up to everybody. Pass me the... There we go.
Gang, what's up? Yes, sir.
I wish I could see what I'm watching right now. But today, we got a change of pace, a little change of pace, I know. We're going to turn this down just a little bit, but today we got a little bit of a change of pace. Most of the time we have artists, different kind of artists, from your rappers to your DJs, photographers, fashionistas, all sorts of ones. But today we're going to kind of change it up. We're going to step a little bit away from that and get more into businesses, and if I'm right, insurance, and a couple more things. But I'm gonna let the man right here, our honorable guest, introduce himself. So go ahead and tell people who you are. If you have any social medias, any business websites you might want to share right now. We'll get into it more, but just right now, just give him the first, like, all your stuff now before the people with ADD click out the first 5.
Got it. Yeah, my name is Marc Cooks, M-A-R-C Cooks. They also know me as MC Inspires, Black Superman. You can get me on Instagram, BlackSuperman_AMC. And yeah, I'm just Mr. Health and Wealth. I'm here to protect your money. I'm here to protect your finances.
Nice. And before we start, I told my homie, one of my good friends, Paulo, it's Mama Tuwala's birthday yesterday. And I told her I was going to give her a birthday shout out today. So happy birthday, Mama Tuwala. I told you I was going to do this before I left the party. And here it is. So we're going to do another one at the end. Love you, Mama. We'll see you later. All right. So let's get into this. So what is it exactly that you do? I know you know Cavi from prior times working together and stuff. So what do you currently do now?
Well, yeah, I worked with that guy at Enterprise many years ago. But right now, I'm a financial service agent. In essence, I educate people on making money, saving money, and planning for retirement. It's something that a lot of people need. They just don't necessarily think about it a lot, nor do they know how to properly plan for it. So we do life insurance, annuities, like I said, retirement planning, long-term care, debt settlement. So if somebody has student loan debt, credit card debt, you're trying to repair your credit, man, we do all that. So my big thing is separating the gap between like the wealthy and the lower class, and the wealthy and the single mothers or the people who are underprivileged. My goal is to help lift them up so they can have access to wealth, ownership, and creating a generational wealth and a legacy for their families.
Nice. Very commendable. Very, very commendable job, dude. So my next question is, when would someone come, like, if they needed you, when would someone come to you?
If they needed me, well, worst case scenario, whether somebody gets sick or passes away or it's an emergency situation and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I need money. How do I better manage my life, my plans? That's worst case scenario, because now they've had a shock or a jolt to where they need to get better at their finances. Best case scenario, my business is actually referral based. So a lot of times it's through, somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And they say, hey, I got this guy, Mark. I know you have kids, or, I need to plan for retirement, or I need some life insurance. I need you to go talk to him. So in best case scenario, they come find me, whether they see me a post I make on Instagram. I actually do a YouTube series with my son called 5 Minutes of Finances, to where I can make a...
Say it again. Say it again.
Oh, it's YouTube. It's if you go to Marc Cooks Inspired, my first name, last name, Inspires, and then you go to 5 Minutes of Finance. My son, his name is Joshua. He also is Black Spider-Man, and he's on there just teaching, teaching kids about money, about saving, about retirement, of the index market. That's something that we're really heavy on, is helping people understand how the index market works. Because if you know Warren Buffett, like 6th richest man in the world, he's really big on the index market. So through teaching him, I can help kids, teenagers, young adults, even older generation, seasoned guys. They can understand how the index market works and how they can capitalize on it as well.
Okay. Nice. So, a couple questions, because I'm just trying to figure out like what it is you do, and I like and really want to get into it, because I want someone to watch this and just really get as much information as they can, and get as many answers, as many questions answered without having to ask the questions. So is it just life insurance?
No. It's not just life insurance.
Okay.
It's life insurance, index annuities, long-term
what's
care.
that?
Index annuities?
Yes. What is in? I know what life. I know life insurance. I have a
Okay.
couple family members that work in life insurance.
Okay.
I do not know what that next word was. So can you elaborate on
Absolutely,
what
I can definitely. Index annuities. Let's just say, have you ever heard of a pension before?
that is? Yes.
Okay.
Well, I've heard of it.
You've heard of
I
it?
feel like it's something that happens later on in life. I don't know too much about it, but I've heard the word before.
Exactly. So when I talk about retirement planning, it's like when you get a job, the first thing they tell you to do is get a 401k, get a 457, get an IRA, start saving for your retirement now, whether you're in your early 20s, late 30s, hopefully not in your 40s, but even in your 40s, people tell you to start planning for your retirement. Well, back in the day, a lot of people had access to 401ks and pensions through their company. But back in the day, 90% of people had access to these things. Now, less than 11% of people have access to a pension. So what does that mean is a pension is an annuity that's saved into a life insurance plan that allows you to get access to money for the rest of your life. It's pretty much income for life. That's what a pension is.
Okay.
So since pensions are starting to go away, now people are wondering, well, how do I create my own pension? That's how you do it with an index annuity.
Okay.
What we do is you'll talk to somebody like me who's licensed. You say, hey, Mark, I want to create income from life. How do I do that? Well, we can set up an index annuity, for your kid, for yourself, for your grandma, whoever it may be. So when you retire or when you want to save money, you have access to a big pot of money, and that money is actually tax-free. So just like a pension, you can put as much money as you want in there. You can contribute, I think you need about $100 to start one. So if you want to start one for your kid now so it can build as they get older, that's great because it's actually in the market. So if the market does 5%, your money gains 5%. The market does 10, 15, that's how much your money grows. The beauty of it is if the market goes to crap, like last year during the pandemic, market went down like 30%. Guess what? None of my clients lost a dime. So they're calling me like, hey, did I lose any money? Like I told you guys, when you're in an index product, you don't lose a dime. So index annuities are really good when you're really serious about planning for retirement, or say you've already retired. You can put your money in there. It's safe. It grows. You have access to it. And then when you pass away, you actually get to pass the full amount to your beneficiaries.
Nice. Okay, so that's how the whole is that like the inheritance thing?
That's what you call passing down generational wealth.
Okay, that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm starting to put
Yes,
two
sir.
and two together.
Hopefully I didn't get too technical, but
No,
Yes.
I'm a person that likes to it's very interested in knowing what all this stuff is.
absolutely.
So I want to know what it is and then be able to, if I'm in something, someone's talking to me, not just know so I know what I'm knowing, but I know when someone's lying to me.
Absolutely.
Like, I went to film school not because I really wanted to be a film person, but I know I was gonna need it. I took film photography. I wanted to learn about it just in case if I need to hire somebody. I know the terminology. No one can get one over on you because there's so many people that will overcharge you for dumb things. But away from me, I want to get back. I'm trying to get back to you. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is it again?
Index annuities.
Index annuities.
Yes.
Is there more to it that you can expand on, or what's the next?
Well, the key to index annuities, to be 100% honest, is that's where a lot of the money is at in my industry, to be 100% honest. And a lot of people don't know about it, but you got to think about this. Say somebody works at their job for 30, 40 years, and let's just say they have $500,000, $600,000, even $1 million saved up in their 401k or whatever, their IRA, 403b. They want to retire with that money comfortably, right? What happens is the money is still in the market. So if the market has a fall or it tumbles or a pandemic happens, or like 2008 when the market crashed, let's just say you had a smooth $500,000 and you lose 50% of that in the market. Now you're back to $250,000. You've already worked 30, 40 years. You done slaved away at the same job and you've just lost half of your money. You got two options. Hey, you're SOL, you got to go back and get another job, or you got to move back in with your kids and try to survive there. The thing is, soon as somebody retires, let's take a portion of that money and put it inside of an index annuity, because again, if the market takes a dump, you will never lose a dime. The second thing is, you will never outlive the money that's in that index annuity. It will pay you for your entire life. Because the thing is, 67% of bankruptcies happen when people are older because of medical expenses. and that's because they don't have the money to afford, hospice care, or if they get cancer or diabetes or whatever it may be. Well, guess what? Inside of these different products, you have access to that money, and you can continue to live off that money for the rest of your life. See, a lot of people don't know that. They just say, all right, I got my money, it's saved in my account, whatever it may be, and then something happens, and then eventually that counts down to zero, and they're only 73 years old, and there's nothing they can do about that. So that's the key thing for me when I talk about index annuity is always plan for what if. Always plan for what if. Because it's better to have a plan and nothing happens than don't have a plan.
I preach that shit at home.
You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And so, like we were talking about earlier, it's chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
We're playing for the long term, and that's what money is. Money is a long game. So when I talk about index annuities, yes, it sounds boring sometimes, but it's like, look, imagine you just have $300,000 in an index annuity, but it's gonna last you for your entire life. But if you got a 401k, eventually that number is gonna go down to zero. And again, like I said, you're back to driving Uber or you're greeting people at Walmart. That's what you don't want.
Man, yeah, that's definitely not what you want. And yeah, I'm glad we're here. There's a lot of information,
It's
a lot of no, but it's very valuable. And because keep on.
And I'll say, and I do want to say, whenever I sit down with clients, I always tell them, a lot of people are sold on these products. Like they're sold on annuities, they're sold on life insurance, they're sold something. I'm here to educate, because the key is if I teach you how to do it, like you mentioned earlier, you can't get bamboozled, you can't be scammed. And then you can't look at somebody else and say, well, I didn't know. Nah, actually, I told you. And a lot of times what people who do in my industry and a lot of other industries, they always say, well, I want to change the community. I want to change the community. I want to change the community. Well, the best way to do is go inside those individual families inside of the community, because they have so many jacked up mindsets and generational curses that they just keep passing it down to their kids, their great grandkids, and so on.
Yeah.
So just like I mentioned, my son, if I can go in there and I can change the mindset of that family and I can break that generational curse, well, that's going to actually lift the family up. And then each individual family that's changed for the positive, that actually changes the community. So again, it's education and information rather than me just selling you a product and then walking away. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, definitely, because there's a lot of people that are just selling stuff just to sell it, not really doing much to help benefit what goes on. That's usually what turns me off from a lot of life insurance people, and because it doesn't seem like they're like what you're doing right now is telling me what it is.
Absolutely.
And that's important, and this is just to show that there's people that are trying to let you know there's nothing for me to hide. Here's everything that I know, everything. You can look this up, go look it up yourself. This is everything that I have for you. And if you don't end up like with us, it's like the big thing with me is I have all this for you, but this is just a choice. You don't have to use me.
Exactly.
But I want you to know I'm here.
Exactly.
This is how you do it. You don't have to do anything. I'll teach you how to do all this stuff, and you still don't have to work with me at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But at least I'm gonna get something out of helping the other person, and that could be my own little weird, selfish little thing. But I get enjoyment out of helping people the same way I bet you get when you're helping people get out of these bad habits and out of these.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and the beauty of it is, again, the joy that I get out of it is that when I do write a policy or I do kind of see the weight of the world lift off the shoulders of that parent. Like I was literally just doing an appointment the other day. It was a mom. She has 3 kids.
1 second.
Go ahead.
Can you guys hear him on the speaker? Okay, I just want to make sure because he's very good at projecting. So yeah, so I'm trying to.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You're very good at projecting.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing. I'm trying to listen to the speaker. Keep going.
I don't like those people who swallow the mic and they keep it right here.
No, I appreciate. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
No, yeah, I'm not the person. But yeah, so I was working with a mom. She has 3 boys, and she's an entrepreneur like myself, and she had no retirement planning, no insurance, and no insurance on the boys. Right. So my initial mind is, we got to get you covered. We got to get you covered because if anything happens to you, who's going to take care of those 3 boys? Mm-hmm. And it happens, right? The second thing is you're an entrepreneur, and most entrepreneurs don't even have a retirement plan. They keep their money in their shoebox, their checking account, or wherever it may be. It's doing them no good. So let's set you up with a life insurance plan to where you can use it as a retirement plan and you get life insurance. You get both. And then we're going to get policies on all 3 of your kids. And the whole time she's just like, I'm nervous because I don't understand. Like I've never had to think about this before. And I was like, exactly. That's what a lot of people feel. It's because they fear what they don't understand and what they don't know.
Yeah, instead of nose diving into it, they back up.
Right, and you even got a nosedive. Just be like, look, you insure your car, you insure your phone, you insure your house, you insure everything else. What's the most important thing to you? It's your life.
Yeah.
That'd be the first thing I can insure. It's my life. Like my son has a policy, I got a policy, and the best time to insure anybody is when you're a baby, because that's when you're most healthiest, and that's when your policy is the cheapest. So when I'm giving this information and she's like, well, I'm just nervous, I'm like, look, I get that you're nervous, but don't think about just yourself. Think about those 3 boys.
Yeah.
Think about protecting them, because you're making sure that if anything happens to you, they're covered. And let's just say nothing happens to you. You live a long life and you've been putting this money away into your retirement plan, and then you pass away. How good would it feel for you to pass down $1 million to your boys? Exactly. How good would it feel for them to look up to heaven and say, you know what, Mom? I miss you, but dang, you hooked me up. You put me in a better situation. So again, not only are we breaking generational curses, but you put me in a situation where I don't even have to touch this money. I'm just going to pass it down to your grandkids. And then your grandkids are going to pass to your great-grandkids. So when you hear people like the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and the who else? Just the Bushes, all of them who have all this money, the Gates and the Zuckerbergers.
Insert rich person.
Insert rich person. You're like, dang, how'd they do that? Because somebody planted that seed today. They plant that seed now, 100 years from now, that your last name will forever be known in that family. Like, this is what my mom did. This is what my grandma did for me. So I always say that, like, this ain't about me. This is about you. Because if I see a GoFundMe pop up on my Instagram and it says, we got to fund Jane Doe, yeah, it's going to hurt my heart and I'm going to shake my head, but that's what I don't want to see. I want you to take care of yourself now. Yeah. So that's the crusade for me.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So what's another aspect of what you do? So you have the index. What is it again?
Index annuity. We have index universal life, which is life insurance. It's like the index annuity and life insurance had a baby.
Okay.
So you get the retirement planning side of everything I just explained, growth in the market, security from the market, all that. But then you get the life insurance side. Life insurance is simple. Everybody knows life insurance. You die, somebody gets some money. That's the simple part, right? Mm-hmm. But within life insurance, you have what you call living benefits. And that means if you get hurt, sick, injured, you get cancer, ALS, whatever it may be, you actually have access to money while you're alive in your life insurance plan. So think about it. If I get into a car accident or I get injured, right, and I can't go to work, well, inside my life insurance, they'll probably cut me a check of like $1,500 to $2,000 every single month. That's my money. So I can stay on my feet. I can pay my bills, make sure my son is good, and I have access to that money so I ain't got to come out of pocket. Or say if I get terminally ill and I find out I only got 7 months to live, well, I can actually take some money from my life insurance plan. Insurance companies will give me a lump sum. I can take my son to Disneyland, Six Flags, Toys R Us. Shout out, they're coming back. And I get to so
dope. I'm glad. Hell yeah.
They're coming back. So I'm like, hey, you got $100K, son. Let's spend it in Toys R Us. I ain't going to be here no way. Yeah. So you have access to those benefits through your life insurance plan. And there's other things that you can do. It's just, again, when you're talking about having access to money now and having access to money later, that's so important in people's lives. Because when you think about it, and again, I don't want to get too technical or deep into stats, but the average person doesn't even have $1,000 in their bank account right now if an emergency happened. Like if an emergency happened right now, do you have access to $1,000? And most people don't. Most people are literally living not even check to check. They're living check to Monday, as in they get paid Friday, they're broke by Monday. So why not have the most beautiful security blanket in a life insurance plan to where if anything happens, guess what you have? Boom, you're covered.
Yeah. See, I have that too. I have a lot of, like what son you do. I play chess, so I have a lot of rainy day funds.
Yes.
I have a lot of rainy day funds. It would just be like, oh, I got a check from doing this for DJing somebody's event. I'm like, well, I don't really need to use this money right now. Let me go put it on this little prepaid card for my brother, and say if he needs anything, let me know, and I'll get him whatever he needs. But that's money, just a bunch of rainy day funds, a bunch of different savings accounts, just making sure if like you said, if just anything happens, I can drop some money. Like I got struck by a drunk driver, like a couple months ago. Totaled my car. But if me and my girl didn't have that rainy day fund,
oh yeah,
we wouldn't have been able to get the car we have now.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have been able to handle everything and still be able to do everything if we didn't save that money. And we'd be like, she's like, we have this money, we could do something. I'm like, nah. We're gonna need that someday, and we're gonna want to have that shit. And I'd rather have it. I'd rather put up with your frustration with us not going on this trip, than to deal with your frustration when we don't have a car.
Yes.
I'll take that bad over this bad any day. And it's just trying to explain to her, because that's the same thing my dad said to me. He's like, save your money, because you never know when you're gonna need it for something. You never know, whatever it's for. And even when I was young, he'd be like, look, he would teach me like, oh, you want the new system? Okay, save up. What's the price? Oh, it's $200. Save up $100. I'll cover the rest.
Yep. That's life insurance in essence.
Yeah, I'll cover the rest.
I'll cover the rest.
And he would always do that stuff to kind of work with me and kind of teach you like, all right, you can spend it now. He was like, but if you spend it now, you won't have it for, like, he's like, he'll give me like $20 on Monday. And he's like, might want to save it, because I know on the weekends your cousins are coming and you're gonna want to be able to buy chips when they have stuff too. So he's like, don't just spend it all in one day.
Yep.
And he really pushed that kind of stuff on me. I didn't know, he doesn't know. He never really pushed like the life insurance stuff on me like that. I never knew. I have a bunch of different medical problems, so I don't really know if I even qualify for it.
You probably do. I guarantee you. You look healthy enough, I can definitely get you covered.
What about brain issues?
I could probably get you covered.
Okay, well, then we'll talk. Yeah, because that's been mainly my biggest, because I've been denied for service to serve. So I'm thinking if they're not letting me do that, I don't. That's kind of like that's been my mindset, because I don't know. I'm honest enough to be like, I have zero idea. I'm not gonna act like I have too much of an idea.
No, I've pacemaker. I had one lady. She had 2 back surgeries, diabetes 2. She was older. She's like in her 60s. What else? She had taking 75 pills a day. Got her $20,000, $96 a month, just so she can be buried. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Even just so you can be buried, so the homies ain't got to put a GoFundMe up for you, something. But no, yeah. I'd find out, and that's for anybody. I'd find out to make sure. Like, look, we gonna get you something. Make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Cause like I said, I'm only 25, so I don't really know too much. And school didn't really teach me shit about anything about that shit. Everything I've learned has either been bad dealings, and then just being completely turned off from the thing, and just being like, fuck it, I'll just stuff money in a safe and just write it in a will. There's a safe in my closet.
Oh, so
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Like, cause I got turned off so bad from it that I thought that's just the best situation. Just put the money in the safe and just let people know in a will that there's a safe inside our house, buried in the basement. Split the money out, and write down how I want to split.
Yep.
And that's as simple as most think, and that's just because I didn't know about any of this stuff.
And that's the crazy part that a lot of people suffer from. And again, you said something. You said 2 things that are very important. You kept saying, I didn't know, and I had to make bad decisions, or I had to learn from bad decisions, or whatever it may be. One of my favorite sayings is, when the people asked, the mentee asked the mentor, he was like, hey, you always have good judgment. You have good judgment. How do you have such good judgment? And the mentor was like, well, from bad judgment, or from experience. You have to go through certain things to create good judgment or learn how to deal with certain situations. But imagine if somebody told you, like, don't do this, and then you listen, and then instead of you having to go through that bad experience, it actually made you more money or gave you a good experience or put you in a better situation where you can level up. That's kind of the position I am when it comes to finances, is instead of you learning the hard way, how would I show you the right way? You duplicate it, and then you teach somebody else how to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of you just continuously bumping your head against the wall, learning the hard way. No, do it the right way, but also show somebody else how to do it the right way. And don't be scared, because one, they always say scared money don't make money. But when you have a good system and you have a legit system, like when I say life insurance, like life insurance companies, the wealthy have been using these companies for years. It works. It's legit. They're not going anywhere by any chance. So when you have a good system, whether it be through a life insurance product or index annuity, which is also a life insurance product, use that system. Use it, make it work for you. Because one thing that you can never do is your money is always going to make more money for you. You can go out and work 60 hours a week, $18 an hour, and you're hustling, you're bustling every day. But imagine if you took $1,000, you put it into an index fund, and then the market did well, and then that money went to $2,000, and that money went to $6,000, and that money went to $10,000, and that money went to $40,000. Guess what? You ain't do nothing to do that.
Yeah, and I'm very interested because I didn't start getting into the whole how money can make more money. I didn't start getting into that as I started getting older.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's just from one wanting to be the people in the suits.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how come these people don't have to work.
Yes.
What is it about them that they don't have to work?
Yes.
What maneuvering are they doing? How are they? Because I know some people's like, oh, I work in stocks. Okay, so what about stocks is making it so you don't have to work?
Yeah.
What are you doing, or real estate? What are you doing in real estate so you barely have to work? What are you doing? And that's more just trying to figure out because I really don't want to have to. I don't like working all the time. I really
Me neither.
No, nobody does.
No.
Nobody does, and it's just trying to figure it out, and then with not knowing where to start, I pretty much am just I just nosedive, I just bang my head wherever the fuck it lands, and hopefully it works. And then if it doesn't, then I go to the next door. The next door opens up, and just hope to God that the next one's gonna work out. And I feel like there's a lot of people that just don't know where to start, and nobody really talks about any of this.
Well,
Right.
I feel like the first thing you got to do, and I was going to share this stat with you guys, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity, is understand your why. Like, understand why all this is important. And I can share something with you that I heard when I was first coming into the business, and I heard a long time ago why learning and knowing about money is important. And I'll say this too. I read a book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. If you have not read that book, I strongly recommend you read that book. It's a great book that talks about the way the devil and society takes hold of you. And the two main reasons are through your finances and through your health. And so I read this book, and I heard a quote that really it hurt my soul that my black community was hurting so bad. And I wanted to share it with you. It says that there's about 330 million in this country, million people in this country, right? Black people make up 13% of the population in this country, but we only make up 1% of the nation's wealth. That was my first dagger in my heart. The second thing is, when you think about how money circulates in the black community, it's terrible. Money circulates 0 to 1 time within the black community compared to the more than 6 times in the Latino community, 9 times in the Asian community, and a limited amount of times in the white community. So that means that we're not even spending money within our own community. We're actually outsourcing our money to other communities.
I've worked in cities that are predominantly Vietnamese, and I've noticed you will hardly see an English word on any of those signs, and you hardly will see them go to any of those corporate places. You see them go to those seafood markets, the regular Adong markets. They stick to they buy Vietnamese.
Yeah,
Right.
Literally.
That's what they do. Strictly buying straight from Vietnamese. That's all they do. And most cultures besides black people do that.
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Facts. It's a terrible number. So when I'm like, dude, when I'm just thinking about money and finances, it's like, what can I do to lift my people up? What can I do to make sure that our money continues to circulate within our communities? And what can I do to make sure I help build more black business and more black entrepreneurs? And that kind of leads into the other part of what my business is that, I'm a recruiter. And that's what my company, we do, is we recruit. If your entrepreneurship mindset, or if you have an entrepreneurship mindset, if you're ambitious, and like we were talking about earlier, and we don't like bosses, I don't like bosses. I don't like working for anybody else. I like being my own boss. So if you want to be your own boss, you want to make money, you want to teach people about money, and then you want to help grow your community, then this is one of those companies to where you can actually get your license, learn how to build a business, get your own office, and expand across the country. Like, I'm licensed in Arizona, Texas, Georgia, Florida, Michigan, New Jersey, and I just got my Oklahoma license. So
Nice.
I'm somebody who's like, look, not only am I going to build up for my community here, but I'm going to build up for other communities across this country. Because if I can help build up other black entrepreneurs, and I work with all different races, but if I can help build up other black entrepreneurs and teach them how money works and then teach them how to run a business, then you know what, that's the best thing I can do for my people right now. You know, because I read those stats and I heard those stats years ago, and I was like, we got to do better. Like, we got to do better as a black people, as a black community. We can't just keep spending. We have to own something, and not just property. We have to own businesses, companies. We have to create our own companies, offices, whatever we got to do. We need to have a piece of that, because there's no reason why Asian community is buying only Asian. Hispanics, we know they stick together and they build within their community, and the Jewish community and everybody else is building their own. Black people, we need to do better and help building our own community and building up our own businesses. So,
Yeah,
that's the crusade, man.
you're completely right. Completely right. And then there's I feel like there's a lot of self animosity inside the black community. And like, if you think about it, it's usually like it's your family, but fuck everybody else.
Right.
That's usually. I'll be honest. That's my family. It's you worry about your family and fuck everybody else. And I feel like that's got to stop. That's got to stop. Because like, for example, like where I live, our apartment complex is like it's a community. It's like a little small community. Like, everybody helps everybody out. Like, right now, like whenever like anybody's like out of town, and we all have dogs, we're all comfortable enough to leave our apartment complex completely unlocked for our neighbor to come in, feed and walk the dogs and go out.
Nice.
Everybody in our apartment complex, like, no one needs to steal from each other, because they know if they need to use it, give us a quick call. Hey, Shaggy, is it cool if I borrow your Bluetooth speaker? Of course, just put it back when you're done. It's very clear. If just everybody's here for everybody. Like, if you need something from us, just let us know. And it's eclectic. The whole group of people there is eclectic. It's not all like one thing, but everybody there is cool with each other.
Right.
And I'm thinking, if you can do that with other races, it should be zero problem doing it
Larger
within your own
scale.
community. Your own
I wish.
community.
Yes. I wish.
Zero. And I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm like pretty lonely out here on the West Coast.
Y'all actually have a really good community, depending on where y'all at. I know some dope community people.
Oh yeah, we all
Or
show
Puerto
up for the
Rican
Puerto Rican Day Festival.
Yeah.
It's like where everybody, but
Right,
then we
it's like, where y'all hiding
scatter.
at?
We scatter after then. Like, it's as soon as that thing is over, we scatter like a bunch of roaches. Everybody just goes to their own parts of California or wherever they come from, and it is what it is. So, and me having a black family is very close knit. So I try to have that with my friends, with everybody else around me, because our thing is it takes a village.
100%.
So I can only do so much for my son. I can only do so much. I can teach him my things, but our neighbor Louie can teach him stuff that I didn't experience.
Absolutely.
Or our neighbor Michelle can tell him about things that she's experienced that we've never experienced, and he becomes a well-rounded person because he's hearing these other perspectives, and he's getting everybody else's. A little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from here, and I just feel like there's a loss of that like that community.
No, you're
Like,
honestly
nobody
100%
knows
right.
nobody knows their neighbors,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
think that's crazy, because where my dad lives, we know our neighbors. We make it a thing to say hello to our neighbors when we see them and all that stuff, because it's like I like to know who's next to me. I don't need to know all their business, but at least it needs to be pleasant.
Right.
And
Right.
we're an open family. Barbecue, if we're barbecuing and it's like you see we're having someone's birthday, we're barbecuing, neighbor comes outside like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing? Come on, bring the family over, we're hanging out, or you want some food. I just don't see that anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's a big detachment too, kind of. Again, I don't want to blame it on my millennial generation or Gen Zers, but you know, there's a big gap on whether it's locked into technology or locked into being more independent. It's in your example. It's almost like we all depended on each other in some way. Whether you need to go check on my dogs or make sure my kids came home, or you hear stories about back in the day. Oh man, if Mark acted up, he got a whooping all the way until he got to his dad's house, and then he got a whooping from his dad. But everybody in the community got a piece of him because when he messed up, it was a family, it was a community. Mm-hmm. We don't see a lot of that now because a lot of more people are more independent and they kind of just stick to themselves. But I totally agree with you. When it comes to community and being organized, I feel like we're much stronger as a group than as an individual. And I feel like that's a lot of things, whether you're a community or a team. And if we can really rebuild that back, man, that would build so much power back in these communities. So when we start talking about entrepreneurship, when we start talking about money, then that's what's going to help us grow again and help us be more lock solid. Because it sounds like what you guys have is amazing. And that's how it's supposed to be. If I'm outside and I see the homie barbecuing, like, I'm trying to come over and get some barbecue.
Yeah.
You don't even see that no more.
Even when I do that, when we are barbecuing, I'll be like, hey, you guys hungry? You want some hungry? I always end up getting extra because I know I'm going to offer to my neighbors. So, and if they don't want it, it's just extra food. But we're always thinking of each other. Like, if we go to Petco, we're buying, we'll see cool treats. We'll buy a bunch of extra for the other dogs, for everybody else in the complex. And it seems like it's like I just don't see it, and then it's seen as weird. Yeah. It seems like I'm being weird. Like I'm like there's something wrong with me because I'm extending this invitation to you. When I'm just like, nah, like we live in the same complex. I would like to be on friendly terms with the people in my complex.
Absolutely.
I would like to be able to look after each other. Like, it's not in a sense like it's also like a sense of community, but also like a survival tactic. Yeah. Because it's better when everybody's cool with each other and looking after each other, so nothing bad happens to anything. So like, say if someone's walking their dog outside and they see someone trying to break into one of the neighbor's car, they can be like, hey, what the hell are you doing? And they're like, that's my car. I'm like, no, it's not. That's my neighbor car. I know whose car that is. Get the hell out of here. Yep. Like, if you don't have that sense of community, you wouldn't know that person's car. And the next day you wake up like, oh, what? Your car got, I saw that. And then now you're like looking at you like, bruh, like, right. And that sense, there's no more just looking after each other anymore. Like, yeah, it's no longer here to like, they're not here. No one's around anymore to serve anybody. Yeah. There you go. So you said the magic word. Thank you. No one's here to serve anybody. And like everybody has a problem with being what the word servant. And it doesn't mean that you're necessarily a slave or someone has control over you. Being a servant to the people is just being helpful. It's just being a helpful person. If you bring some kind of utility to people's lives, that's very valuable. It's very valuable. You can bring a lot of things together if you're that kind of person. But it seems like people push those off as weird. Like those are weird people because we're enthusiastic about having a sense of community. And I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird. And I get what you're saying. It's just I don't know why it's happening so much. I don't. I think again, something that we always say in the company, hence the name People Helping People, is the more you serve, the more you earn, and even going beyond that, the more you serve, again, it makes you feel better. Like there's nothing like that joy in your life where, you just, again, you take the weight of the world off the shoulder of a single mother, or a single father, or a family who's in need. Like I personally have never delivered a check, in somebody's passing. None of my clients have passed away yet, but when I think about it, like, dog, what is it going to be like when I give my first $600,000 check to a widow, a mom, or a wife, or a husband, and their spouse passes away and they want to grieve, and I'm like, well, it's unfortunate that, so-and-so passed away, but here's $600,000. You don't have to sell your home. You don't have to sell your car. You don't have to dig into your retirement. Like, that's going to feel amazing. It's going to feel amazing. But just that feeling is the same way of like, if I have an issue with my neighbor, and it's like, dude, like we've been neighbors for 5 years. Like, me, you know that I'm a good man. It's a lot different conversation when you go, all right, you know what? My bad. I messed up. We can apologize. We can be mutual. Everything's all good. But nowadays, if you don't know your neighbor, it ain't going to be that easy. Yeah. And I've heard some more stories. I just recently heard about the story in Pennsylvania where two neighbors were fighting over snow. Over snow. And they were fighting and going back and forth.
And then
I'm too hot-headed to do that shit.
What?
Too hot-headed.
Yeah, they're literally fighting. But the sad part is they were fighting over snow. It was a husband and wife versus one neighbor. Long story short, not to get too gruesome, but the neighbor went inside, got the gun, shot the couple, and then shot himself over snow.
Oh, hell no.
AR too.
You know, was it AR? Yeah, he came. Oh, so you heard?
AR.
Yeah.
I seen the video.
Yeah,
see,
came out with an AR, and I'm like, dog, like,
Why?
why? Oh, like,
It ain't
like
never
when
that
you talk
cheap.
about surf, I just would have shoveled the snow. I'm like, all right,
God.
look. It's all good, player. I'm gonna get my shovel. I'm gonna shovel the snow, and then I'm gonna bring you some hot chocolate. Like, are you thirsty?
I'm the type to be like, look, if it's that big of a deal, all right, let's just go inside. Just go inside, man. I'll knock it out.
That's
just
it.
anything.
You know?
Like I just don't have time for that shit. I don't have time for that shit. Like I said, I have medical issues, so in my head, my expiration date is real.
Yeah.
So I don't have time to get mad about a lot of shit. I'm very nonchalant about stuff. Like and I do get serious at times, and I will lose my temper at times. But overall, I try not to stress out about stupid shit like that. Oh,
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's you'll spend more time in your life worrying about that shit, and by the time you're done worrying about that shit, life has passed you fucking by.
Yep.
And believe me, I've had a pretty, I wouldn't say, there's people have way worse lives than me.
Yep.
Way worse lives than me. I can guarantee that. My life wasn't a cakewalk, but I will admit that it was definitely easier than some other people's I've heard and can imagine are fucking going through.
Right.
And hold on, I'm sorry, my head, I'm losing space. But fuck, I'm losing space.
It's all good, but no,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
But it's
yeah.
I've been through a lot, so it's like if I can get through all that shit, and I thought then that was the end. If I can get through that shit, whatever bullshit I'm going through now is nothing compared to the shit I've gone through before. So having to be broke for a couple of days because I had to pay a bill means nothing to me compared to when I was sleeping on a cot in a fucking home shelter at 17, worrying about these motherfuckers who are around me. Because I'm the only one sober, not doing anything. I'm 17 and I'm around this situation. You don't know that kind of idea of not knowing what to do next. And a lot of people don't know what that feeling's like, and it's a crazy feeling to know like it's pretty much on you.
Yeah.
It's on you. You got to do whatever you can to get the hell up out of your situation and do what you need to do.
Yep.
So I just compare everything to like, man, was this worse than Little Orchard? No, then what the hell? What's the point of fucking? What's the point? Even if I find myself complaining, I'm like, look, like I'm sorry, my bad. I really shouldn't be complaining about nothing.
Absolutely.
Like it's all right. But yeah. Sorry, I was going on a tangent.
Hey,
Sorry.
it's all good.
Nah, bro. That was
Sorry.
good. That was
It's
good.
all good.
Y'all
It's
got
all
any
good.
questions for him?
very
Anything?
relevant.
Tell your
Anything?
story. Tell your story.
Y'all ain't got any questions for him? Y'all should be asking questions. Y'all should.
I do got a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so when did you want to become a financial service advisor? Like,
I don't think anybody ever wants to
Right.
become a
right?
financial.
Does it just
I would
like
tell you
fall
right-
on your lap, or like you just, like-
Man, listen, and you guys are probably gonna be like, what? So, since I was 11 years old, I wanted to be a police officer, right? I did a program where I was introduced.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Might
no,
have to pat you down right
that's what
now.
I was. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Like, you guys are gonna be like, what? Watch this. 11 years old, I want to be a police officer. So I actually go to college, University of Michigan. Shout out, Go Blue. We're in the tournament. And I go to college, get my degree in criminal justice. Applied a ton of different law departments back here in California. Got picked up by the sheriff's department. I worked for the sheriff's department for 3 years. Then I went on PD out in Long Beach. So that's how I was out in the LBC. So I did that for 4 years, and I was actually let go from Long Beach. And so it's like, though, that was my dream since I was 11. Now I'm 29 years old, no job, career gone. Like, what do I do? And so I was actually introduced to this business. And by my roommate, and I was like, dude, this makes sense. You're helping people, you're teaching people about money, which I like to do, and we travel the world, all-inclusive paid. They send us on trips all across the world. They give us cars, all types of stuff. Like, they give us so much stuff. And on top of that, if you Google the industry that makes the most millionaires, you see financial services. So I was like, dude, this makes sense. I'm going to make a crap ton of money. I'm going to serve the community. I'm going to teach people about money. And I get to travel for free with my son. It makes sense. So that's how I entered. And there was like, and then you ain't got to have no experience. Just get your license. Once you get your license, this little $150 license is going to make you over millions for the rest of your life. I was like, sign me up all day. So technically it did fall into my lap, but I'm the type of person where, again, me being a believer that everything happens for a reason and God's always got you. So if he takes you out, if he took me out of law enforcement and put me here, it was for a reason. And so when I was introduced to this industry, I just knew it made sense. It made sense. It was a good company. And then once I really dove in, I was like, dude, they shouldn't be paying us all this money just to write life insurance. But they pay us a ton of money. So that's kind of how I fell into it.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me more about your YouTube channel you and your son have going on. 'Cause that's pretty dope. One, because you don't really see that. You don't really see that push too much on media now. They like to talk about how it's such a big problem, but they never highlight the ones that are doing it.
Yeah.
Instead of, I've always say, if you don't want that negative stereotype, stop pushing the negative stereotype. But it is what it is. But we're not gonna do that here. So tell me more about like your YouTube channel with you and your son, because that's dope. You and your son are doing their own little financial advisory on YouTube. Like, let us know more about it.
Absolutely. So I fought it for years that I didn't want to do it. But again, once I was let go from the police department, it was kind of like, well, what am I going to do? Well, you want to be an entrepreneur? Being an entrepreneur. So first thing was everybody kept saying, go to YouTube, go to YouTube, go to YouTube. So I started the YouTube channel, but it was mainly just about fitness. I did that for a while, and I was like, you know what? I want to do something more. So I would say around January of 2017, I started doing Monday messages every single Monday. And so what I would do is I would put up a video for like 1 minute and just say, what up with everybody? It's your boy MC Inspires, Black Superman, boom, boom, boom. And I would just give some positive message. And I did that every single Monday. And so I'm, 4 years now, I posted a video every single Monday. Yeah, flooding your timeline and I'm consistent with it every Monday. So I had that going as again, I'm a motivational speaker, as somebody who, speaks at different events and on YouTube. So I said, you know what? I want to get my son involved. I want my son to have something, because to be completely honest, if I post something, I might get a couple of views, a couple of likes. But then when I post him, oh man, he blows it up. Facebook,
Little
Instagram,
kids,
they love him. Like, they be waiting. Like, when is your son coming? So I was like, okay.
It'd be weird sometimes.
It'd be weird, but it's like,
I'd be like,
get
damn,
it.
I'm here too.
No, that's the thing. It's like, damn, like you guys see me all the time.
I made him.
But they'd be like, oh my God, like, I love your son. So this has been happening since he was like 4,
I'm
3 or 4.
I'm
He got him at 4 too.
You know what I'm saying? And he's adorable. He's cute. Shout out to Black Spider-Man. And so I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to dress him up as Spider-Man. I'm going to dress up as Superman. And we're just going to educate people on money and business. And sure enough, once we did that, people started sharing our videos and talking about it,
Nice.
talking to my family about it. But my theory was, if I can teach a 5-year-old to learn about money, you have no excuse. And literally, we go through the cash flow quadrant. We have a video called TikTok Retirement, where I teach them through TikTok how to help people retire. And then we have Blackjack Retire on Track. And it was funny because it's never scripted. It's all live. I post everything raw, and he's never played blackjack before. So I'm teaching him blackjack, and I say, all right, here's the deal. I give you some money, and we're going to play blackjack. So if you win, I'll double your money. If you lose, I won't take any money. That's retirement. And after like the third hand, he's like, I like this game. And I was like, why do you like it? Because I'm always winning. And I was like, and that's exactly how we help people retire.
Smart. That's real.
Yes, sir.
So it was like,
that's
boom,
real.
boom. He was just like, dude, I like this game. He's like, because I usually lose to daddy,
Yeah.
but now I'm actually winning. But he doesn't even understand how he's learning about money. But here's what got me one day, guys, is I was sitting with my aunt, and she gave him $25. It was a $20 and a $5 bill. And I'm just sitting there, he's on my right, and my aunt goes, okay, I'm giving you this money. What are you going to do with it? Didn't even hesitate. I'm going to put 20 in my piggy bank, and I'm going to spend the 5. Man, you talk about a proud dad. I was just like, I was like, it's working.
Yes,
like,
sir. There you
yes.
go. That's
And
what's
that's
up.
how
That's
he is.
dope.
Like, he's
That's
just
dope.
like, he's like, I'm gonna put the 20 in my piggy bank, spend the 5.
See, I wish I had that shit, my nigga.
You see what I'm saying? And this is he's
But
6 years
don't
old.
reminisce. Just move forward. That's
No,
all you
no, no,
gotta
no.
do.
I feel it. I'm just talking. I'm just.
Now, but you're right. You said it. You said the magical word. I wish I had this. That's what a lot of people feel. But nobody sat
Right.
down and did it so simple. Tic-tac-toe, blackjack, whatever it may be. Like, dude, you can have this. Just pay yourself first. That's what I tell all my clients, all my recruits. Pay yourself first. If you get paid, pay yourself first.
Yeah, see, I learned that from reading. Can't get the title, but it's The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yep, Rich Man in Babylon. Yes.
Like, that's why I got to pay yourself. Put the 10% of what you get for yourself and put that away.
That's it.
And I just ran through that sort of like, I really don't do much, so let's pay that 10%. Let's bring it up to 30, and let's put that 30 away.
Bingo.
And then as soon as I'm like, well, I'm still not spending that rest of that 70. Let's bump that up to 60 and see what
Bam.
and see what I do with that. And that's mainly how I've been keeping my rainy day funds.
There it is. There it is.
Just from that one book, and I didn't read it. I listened to it.
Yeah.
It was like my senior year.
Was it an audiobook?
Yeah. It was
Oh, yeah,
it was just on
audiobooks are great.
It was just on YouTube.
Especially in California, we're sitting in traffic.
My English teacher understood I hated fiction. I had zero interest in fiction. Didn't like stories. I don't like, because to me they're lies. To me, I'm a very logical person. To me they're lies. So he was like, I'm gonna give you a book I feel like you'll like, because it's telling a story, but you're gonna learn. It's also teaching you something at the same time. And listening to it, and I tried reading it. I don't have the patience to read. So I was like, I just ended up just listening to it for over and over and over again. Fall asleep, end up starting over. But then you just learn. That was the biggest thing I took from it, was to always leave money for yourself.
Yes.
And put it to the side.
Pay yourself first.
Every single check I do that, to the point where I'll probably give myself less money to spend than I give myself more money than to save. And some months I'll challenge myself. I'll be like, all right, I've been giving myself $100 a week. Let's drop that to 50. Let's see if I can handle. Let's see if I can do my week with $50.
Ooh, that's a stretch, but yeah.
Well, yeah, because like the way that I've learned to save money is like try not to eat out a lot.
Yep.
Like you'll save a lot more money grocery shopping than you will eating out every day, because the amount of money I spend on probably like fries is about the same amount of money I spend on the meat I cook all week.
Yep. Facts.
So, and let's just I don't like waiting. So if like all I said I don't want to deal with just because I don't want to cook, I'll just cook. And that's been trying to get out of just getting into those good habits of just not frivolously spending.
Yep.
And try not to keep up with the Joneses.
Don't do that. And that kind of goes into my why I say Mr. Health and Wealth, because you spend $8-9 on fries, where you can get some ground turkey for the same amount of price, 3 pounds of ground turkey.
I eat it raw.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I eat, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you cook it, you eat it, it lasts longer, and it's just better for your body. Instead of you eating all that salt and GMO and all that stuff, it's like not only are you saving money, but you're also taking better care of your body. And it goes hand in hand. And so, when you made that statement, I was like, I'm hoping people catch that. Is not only is it going to help your pocket, but it's going to help your health, because you actually get to see how your food is prepared.
Yeah.
And you save a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So.
Man, and
Correct.
everybody needs to know how to cook. It's a survival skill.
Absolutely.
Survival skill. You need to know how to cook for yourself. And just in general, be able to take care of you. Because what happens if all this stuff just ceased to exist? What if they just drop a law that says they can no longer use processed food? Everybody's gonna go out of business. What's gonna happen to the people who rely on fucking McDonald's and all this shit? They're not gonna know how to
TV
cook.
dinners.
Like, and it's bad.
Okay.
Like, get away from having to rely on microwaves and all that stuff. Learn how just to cook and eat food. It's definitely gonna taste different. And like, for a good example is we had our neighbor told us he went overseas, and he was in Korea, and they warned him. They said, hey, everything here is completely natural, so try not to overeat.
Oh, yes.
Because your body is not used to eating that. You guys eat garbage in United States. everything is and he said I didn't believe him at first, so I was just eating, and dude, my body did not handle it well. And it's just crazy. He's like, yeah, it's crazy how much our bodies are not meant, like we eat so much bullshit that our bodies aren't meant to, like they don't know what to do when they get fresh fucking ingredients.
Man.
They freak out. Your body freaks out like, oh shit, this is new. This is what, it's crazy.
Yeah, that actually happened to me when I went to the Dominican Republic. Oh my God, the food is so good over there. And then, you're eating it and your body's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Literally, the day I came back, I think I had like Buffalo Wild Wings or something. I got sick for like a week.
Yeah, your stomach was like, nah.
My stomach was like,
go
what are you
back to
doing?
that other shit. Yeah, we want that shit. Go back to that raw shit.
Oh
We don't
my
want
God,
that.
it was such a huge difference. I was like, dang, I need to move out there. But yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, like
The hell is you doing in the Dominican Republic, nigga?
hey,
Those are stories that cannot be told.
oh yeah.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, it always took us, like, me and my family, we always shop at, like, the Carcenerias and the Asian markets because they make sure that their stuff is fresh. They always make sure to buy their stuff fresh. And when I was working in Westminster and I was working around all those Vietnamese markets and stuff, I noticed that everything they had was coming in, except for the meat, like their seafood and stuff, was coming in alive. Everything was coming in alive. I would see them pull up on the big ass truck that has the fish, and they would get a net, pull a fish. One would drop on the floor, start flopping around and shit. They were alive, and then they put them in the tanks, and they would swim. And he was like, "It's way more natural to get them when they come out like that." It was like we don't all that processed stuff they do. It kills what they're trying to get from what you get from it. When you let something, you already cut it and skin it, let it sit and freeze it, you lose a lot of nutrients. Like a lot of people don't know, stop cooking your vegetables.
Yeah.
Stop cooking your vegetables. The moment you cook your vegetables is the moment that shit is no longer healthy for you. Don't put cheese on broccoli as much. It's bomb. It's bomb
Man,
too.
look, don't say that.
It's
Don't even-
bomb.
The way you
Listen.
can eat it.
But no, start. It's raw vegetables. It's
Yep.
raw vegetables or steam.
Yep.
Steaming them
There
is
we
the
go.
best way to do it. But if you cook them any other way, you're just robbing the nutrients that you're trying to get from it. And then you're just defeating the purpose. You're beating a horse with a dead stick.
Bars.
You're beating a horse with a. My bad. I said that completely wrong. You're beating a dead horse with a stick. But yeah, it's a lot of things that you could do. That you can do to save money and to put yourself in a better situation if you just put the effort in. It's just the stuff that's I always tell everybody. The stuff that's hard to do is always going to take more effort.
Absolutely.
There's nothing in this life that's easy. If it was, everybody would be millionaires.
Yes, sir.
Cause I'm pretty sure, like people tell you, if this shit was easy, everybody would be rich.
Absolutely.
But money and financial stuff is not easy, and it's not easy to understand. But if you have the willingness to learn, you can do it. At least you can try to do it. At least you can try, and it's always in the try rather than the outcome. I always give people credit for the trying, because it's a more of a leap of faith, because you're taking the risk knowing you may fail, and nobody wants to fail.
Absolutely not.
Nobody wants at all. And then I don't know if you played sports or not,
Football, and I ran track up to college.
but that sports kind of eliminates that fear of
Oh, yeah.
that fear of failure, because every
Absolutely.
game is a chance to either succeed or fail.
Absolutely.
And you can't go into that game thinking you're going to lose or you're going to lose.
Absolutely.
So you'd rather lose going 100% and knowing you lost because either better coaching or just at times the person's just better than you. And those times when you go against people who are just better than you. And you just got to be able to take it on the chin and be like, all right, I got you next time.
That's it.
I got you next time. I always tell people all the time, if I fail here, you might see me try again in a different situation. Because that's just that one time. Who's to say this next shot I take ain't finna go in?
Exactly.
It's all about repetition and repetition and repetition, or just consistency, just staying consistent. And I've noticed nowadays, consistency is beating talent. And if you have talent and consistency, you're gonna kill the game. Because there's a lot of talented people who are not consistent and they're not successful. But there's a lot of hardworking, consistent people that are not as talented, that are way more successful than those people. And that's because they work hard. Like that's why you always get that one white boy on the basketball team that can shoot the shit out of a basketball.
Right.
And he's there because he's on the court spending all his time shooting the rock. That's all he do.
Yep.
And he's making his money doing exactly what he do. And it's just figuring out your niche, whether if it's financial advising, whether it's DJing, music production.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call. I really don't know what to call myself, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't.
You're a content creator.
I don't like that because people just assume that's like just strictly YouTube and stuff, and I don't like. I don't just do YouTube.
What do you consider yourself?
That's a good question. I've honestly like.
Yeah. Because I'm curious. Like, yeah, you know, yeah.
I would just say like I'm more of an advisor, just an overall advisor.
Right.
But I don't know because I create stuff.
Right.
I create stuff and I'm creating stuff to eventually give it to someone else.
Yeah, I feel you.
And then move on to the next thing.
Right.
My best example is I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Dave Portnoy. He's the CEO. He's the CEO and founder of Barstool Sports.
Oh wow.
But he does so many different things. He's creating stuff. He's building stuff for his employees. Like he's doing stuff. He builds a show, helps the show, gets up, then he just leaves and moves on to the next one.
You're like an entrepreneur builder. I don't even know what to call that. It's like
or a producer.
Yeah, it's like
executive producer.
Like you create something, and you're like, all right, I got this. Who wants it? All right, cool. And then they go in and use it,
and I want to help. Yeah, and just slowly move my way on, and just move on to the next thing, and then
behind the scenes.
Yeah, just slowly move on and just be like, all right, cool. You figured it out. Now you know what to do. Now you're good. I'm gonna go move on to the next thing, and I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah.
And it's more just I want to create stuff for people and just keep moving on to the next, and just keep moving on to the next thing. Eventually, until I either don't have any more people to help,
which will never happen.
Which will never happen, or I just croak. It's either or.
Right.
You might actually become a coach. We in our company we read books, and we read the book. I cannot think of the name for some reason, but he was the coach of everybody from Gates to Zuckerberg to Bezos, all those guys. He passed away not too long ago, but in this book, we're learning from the coach on how he coached the leaders of America. But he was like, you would have never heard of him unless you asked, like, who coached these guys? Who's leading these guys? Who's helping these guys build Facebook and Microsoft? And it was him. And that kind of sounds like the role you could possibly take is like,
because the money doesn't matter.
And I'm pretty sure he got paid a lot of money.
Yeah, pretty sure he did.
But he was just like your regular guy that wore khakis and a little button down. But he coached the big timers. He coached the billionaires. He coached all those guys to get them to where they're at. And he's like, all right, who's next?
And that's what I do. Like when
that's probably what you do.
Yeah, like we should have talked about this yesterday with DJ Phil. When I met him, I kind of broke down how he can make money DJing, because me and my mom DJ, and my mom broke it down to me how she does it, and it's understanding what you're bringing. And I was explaining to him, like, I was like, how much you charge? And he would say, like, I'm only charging like $100 a night. I'm like, bring it up to 400. And he was like, why? I was like, because how much did all this stuff cost? You need to at least charge them what it would cost to replace your stuff. At least. If you're too scared to ask for more, I would suggest you grow some balls and just understand you're going to get no sometimes. Because I get denied all the times when I give my price. Some people don't want to pay for it, but they have to understand that you have to be able to pay to replace this shit if someone stupid at your party decides to get drunk and knock my shit over.
Right.
Because that money that's going to repay it is going to stop me from whooping your ass when that shit is broken.
Right.
Because I know I got money coming to replace it that's going to calm me down. And you always want to make sure you're doing that. And like me and my mom we don't charge nothing less than $1,800 for a wedding. That's our base. And that's just us showing up. Because that means we got to be there from 6 o'clock in the morning all the way till the reception's over. You're going to pay for us to be there. We're not just going to sit there and you want to use our audio system? That's going to run you a little bit more. And it's just you have to be able to explain to them why they're paying all this extra money. And I'm completely upfront. I will like, would you like a list of how much this stuff costs? I will give it to you. I'll break it down. I'll give you the breakdown we have. Because you have to justify the means.
Right.
And I use that philosophy for, even if it's not DJing, if you're producing. I have a MacBook. I have this. I allow you guys to smoke and drink here, which means I'm taking a risk with you guys in here. I'm trusting the fact that you're adults and you're not gonna overdrink, but shit happens and you're gonna have to cover it.
Right.
And just it's pretty much just whatever. I use the same on every way. I have to justify what I'm doing here and justify the means and justify your prices and justify it. If you can't justify it to me, I'm not gonna take part.
I like the way you put that.
It has to make sense.
Right.
I'm very logical. I am not a fairy tale person. I think the most that I fairy tale would probably be, I like professional wrestling. That's probably the most
I fuck with that too.
That's probably the most
Shout out to
fairy tale
professional
shit I
wrestling.
like.
Shout out to professional wrestling.
And that's
Yeah.
it's
Check
yeah,
it.
exactly. And the only reason why I like it is because it's live and I see them actually doing it.
Yeah.
Lucha Libre is
Right.
real as fuck though.
It all hurts. I tried it. It all hurts.
Yeah.
I tried to train it. Maybe again I'll try it again, but that shit hurts.
If you try it again, let me know.
I got you.
Yeah.
Shout out to LA Revolution and all
Hey.
the luchadors classes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just to try stuff. But no, I'm very interested in learning. Like I love pro wrestling to the point where I've learned the ins and outs. I learned the dynamics of it. I learned that all the moves are only moves that probably are not legitimate are the punches and kicks. But landing on that mat is hard as hell. Learning what the mat was made out of shocked the shit out of me. It made me not want to slam on that shit. It's plywood with maybe like 2 layers, maybe that thick of felt.
Damn. So like that
With
much?
plywood
You said of
underneath.
what?
Felt. Plywood.
Plywood. God
What's
damn.
felt? You said felt?
Like bullshit felt.
Felt. Like
Well,
a
it's
dry
got-
eraser. Like an eraser for a
Maybe this
whiteboard.
much cushion. Like look at my hand. If I'm stepping on it, it's got like
Pretty
that
much.
It's probably got like that much cushion on it. And you gotta you have to land a certain way so it doesn't hurt. It's still gonna hurt, but you're gonna land a way where you don't hurt yourself. And you gotta take that. That's why they're so fucking muscular and shit, because they have to be able to take that.
Right.
Over, and they do it over and over. Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday. They do it over and over and over again. But back to any of that others, back to all that.
As I was like, I wanted to say like, so pretty much what you're saying, like, know your worth and name your price.
Be realistic about your worth.
Okay. Right. Understand your worth.
Understand your worth.
Okay.
Know your worth and understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people tell you know your worth, everybody wants to go to this crazy fucking thing that they are without being realistic.
Yes.
Me, I don't ask for much besides you show up on time and you respect my time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand I ain't shit.
Right.
I am nobody.
Yeah.
All I can do is ask you to give me the basic respect. And if you don't give me the basic respect, you can't be involved.
Right.
Now, if things get a little bigger and if this eventually blows up and I probably still won't do that. But it makes more sense to be like, hey, we have a little bit more. It matters a little bit more now. I need you to be more on point.
Yes.
I probably personally still wouldn't do that because that's just not my fabric. But now it justifies that.
Yes.
But I can't justify being like that right now.
Right. Right.
I hate. I have a big ass ego, but I have to be able to justify my ego.
Yes.
That's how my head works. If someone wants to tell me, they're better than me at a certain sport, I'm like, all right, let's go play and let's justify what you just said,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and let's see what it is.
It's all facts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts over feelings.
Right.
Facts over feelings. I'm never gonna be disrespectful. I'm definitely gonna be a straight shooter.
Yes. As you should.
That's how you get across to people.
Yeah.
I've tried the soft and sugary coating things. I tried it. I saved that for kids.
Yeah.
But for adults, you should be over that. You should be over that. And I'd prefer people just to be straight up with me. I'd rather prefer you tell me I'm not a big fan of you than for you just to sit there and look at me weird the whole goddamn night. Like, just tell me you don't like me and move on with your fucking life.
Right.
Like, that's cool. All right. I don't. It may be likewise, but if it's not, who cares? Just go do your own thing. I'm not wrapped up too much in how people's empty feelings are about me.
True.
I'm worried about when I'm done with this shit, if the legacy is gonna be, I helped a shit ton of people get into the game.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm working towards. I want to be known not really as a millionaire or a billionaire. He had all this shit. I want to be known as he helped him get on. He helped him get on. He helped him get on. In different areas.
I feel you.
I want to be the next TK Kirkland.
Hey.
In a nutshell, for people who want to do a simple fucking version, I want to be the next TK Kirkland. Who was like, yeah, I helped him. He lived with me, did this. I want to be able to help people get on, and I don't care about being the most successful person in the world. I'll let you guys who want to be on the camera be on the camera.
Right.
This would probably be the only thing I would stay on camera for, because this would be the baby. But I probably would still pass this off, just because I'll eventually want to make something new. I'm already in the work. I'm already thinking of making something new now. And you guys have already we've already talked about it. So I'm already working to do that. And this is what I want to do. And I've had a lot of people, a lot of recruiters say, we could use you this. And I'm like, I don't want to take any focus off this. Maybe when I'm done with this, and maybe if I'm looking for something else to conquer, maybe. But my focus is making this a reality. But anyway, I'm over talking about me.
Dropping
You taking all the whole sound down there. Shit.
Dropping
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, it's
all love, though, man.
I'm just tired of seeing people give so many fucking excuses. I try to stay off of social media and all this shit, because it's just nothing but fucking sob stories. And I'm tired of people asking for people for shit. Like, I'm just tired of that shit, because I was homeless and wasn't getting shit from anybody. So if my ass who was homeless, and the only people that helped me were my 2-3 homies that really fucked with me. Besides that, I was on my fucking own. And I wasn't asking for no handouts. And it took longer asking for handouts. If I didn't spend a certain amount of time when I was down asking for handouts, I would have been done with this shit quicker.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, when you put that shit in your own fucking hands and you give yourself the fucking pressure, but you gotta be hard on yourself. When you fail, you can't be like, oh, I'll just get them next and be like, nah, why'd I fuck up that time? I can't keep doing this shit if I'm trying to get out. And it's just being real with yourself, and having that, being able to tell, like, get on your own ass and be like, dude, you need to get the fuck up and get on. I've had those conversations with myself. Because it's either that or I stayed homeless. Because I go visit. Like, I'm going to go visit again in a month when I go back home. I'm going to go visit because I always donate my clothes to them. Because I thank them. I thank the people that were there that helped me. And that thing as a whole. So I go back to donate. And I guarantee you I'm going to run into the same fucking people. The same. And it's fucking sad. And I tried my best. That's why I keep coming back. Because I'm hoping they see me and they remember who I was when I came there.
Right.
And I have a picture of me there. That place has a picture of me up because I'm one of their success stories. So I let them know, like, that was me up there. Sleeping on those cots. That was me. So if you can get into this shit, and I'm self-proclaimed not the smartest fucking tool in the toolbox. I hated school. Wasn't a studious person. I just figured out the game. I figured out if I did classwork, homework didn't really matter too much, and if I aced the test, I could end up with a C. That's how I thought.
Pretty much.
I knew what I was not good at, which was I was not good at doing homework at home, so I did all my classwork, and I made sure I studied for tests, because I didn't want to do homework. You're not on. Your mic's not on.
Oh, shit, my battery's dead, is it? Can you hear me now?
No, you were leaning back too far from the
Oh,
receiver.
the mic thing. Okay, yeah, the intent.
But even
I see what you're saying, though.
even with that mindset, I still even tell myself, like, I wish I would have switched it up. I wish I would have switched that and still put that same amount of effort. The same amount of effort I put into not doing homework, if I just did the fucking homework, it would have been better. But you have to be able to tell yourself like you made that mistake, and then just move on. So now when I go back to school, I know if I want to get scholarships and do all this shit, I got to put the same effort that I figured out the system and just do it all. Because if I'm smart enough to game the system, I'm smart enough to fucking do it the right way and fucking do it the right way. But it's just getting out of that mindset, that lazy mindset, the always trying to find shortcut shit. You got to get out of that fucking mindset. And everybody's just looking for that come up without the struggle. Everybody I love Kevin Hart. I fell in love with Kevin Hart just when I saw the backstage. He said everybody want to be famous, but nobody want to put the work in. And that shit is true. Even for myself, I even tell myself like, yeah, there's a lot of shit that I wanted that I didn't put the work in. And that's on me. It wasn't my dad's fault. It wasn't my friend's fault. It wasn't no one's fault but me, because I could have stayed in when I went out. I could have hit the gym when no one else was. I could have been doing all of that, but I chose not to. And I just understand my accountability is my accountability. And once you stop blaming other shit and start realizing it's you, shit just starts moving easier. You move through life so much easier. And you grow with confidence. Once you're able to tell yourself and kill your own fucking ego, your confidence goes through the roof because you know who you are.
Can I
Speaking
touch
facts
on
right
something?
now, yes,
I
sir.
know. I want to touch on something too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was dropping bars. I was listening,
Yes, sir.
taking
We
mental
just like,
notes.
hey.
But one thing that he mentioned in that whole talk was he had to bump his head a lot. But one thing I always encourage other people to, or not other people, but encourage people to do is find coaching and mentorship. That's something I'm really big on, especially the younger cats, is if you do want to reach a certain level, if you do want to have a certain income or whatever it may be, even if you're in a situation like this young brother was talking about as far as being homeless, if you can attach yourself to somebody who's in a position that you want to be in, man, that's the best thing you can do. And like he said, you got to put aside your ego and say, this person knows something or has something that I want. I'm going to humble myself enough to, even if I just got to bring this cat coffee every single day, just so I can be around other leaders, or just so I can be around other DJs or other producers or other writers or whatever you may be. Like, you got to humble yourself, put aside that ego, and find mentorship and coaching. Because a lot of times people don't have that same grit and grind like you. That's why when he said he keeps going back and it's the same people there, a lot of times if those same people just had mentorship or had somebody say, you know what, I'm finna teach you the game so you don't have to keep learning it on your own, that's sometimes the best thing that you can do. I was blessed to have 4 or 5 mentors growing up in my life now. So whenever I make a knucklehead decision, or I make a bad, or I want to make a decision that's not only going to change my life or my son's life, I call them first. And I say, is this the right decision? What are the pros? What are the cons? And so if you're listening to this and you just heard the bars that he just dropped, understand too, it's okay to find somebody who's in a situation where you're like, dang, I really want to be like that person. I'm gonna have to put in the work, but it's gonna elevate me to the next level. Like if you're a basketball player and you were around when Jordan was alive or when Kobe was alive, and Kobe said, hey, look, I'm gonna teach y'all to play basketball. You're not gonna be like, oh no, I'll pass.
be in the gym before he got.
That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna be like, oh no, I'm a pass. Like no, like like you said, I'm gonna be there. If he said be there at 6, I'm there at 3:30. You know what I'm saying? Warming up.
I'll be sitting outside and he'd be like, what time did you get here? 4?
4.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to beat you here.
Right? You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that same drive, because what he's talking about is that's 1% drive. A lot of us can't do that, But even if you're like 70%, find mentorship, find coaching. So I want some of you guys to catch that as well, is find somebody who's in a position that you want to be in. And literally, I don't care if you got to wash their car, sit outside their window, whatever. Just walk on them and say, hey, like, what are you up to? Can I just sit here and listen to one of your phone calls and just absorb the information, man? That's one of the best things you can do. And I just want to add that in there.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely some good advice. My thing was at the time, I just didn't really, due to my circumstances, did not trust a lot of people. So I was just like, let me get to a certain space where I'm solid, and then I can slowly start trusting people where I know I'm not relying on anybody. When I was getting out, was just mainly just not to be reliant on anybody. Because now I have no issue asking people like what they do, what is it what they are. Like that's That's part of the big reason why I started this, because I'm interested in knowing what people do. Just to know, and then on top of that, just have a platform. If anybody's interested in anything, they can come here and know we have a litany of people that probably have the same interest as you. And just to have the information out there, because there's a lot of information they don't fucking tell you. Like in this, and to put this in perspective. And then, how long are we going? Because I feel like I've been taking this great man's fucking time.
Nah, but like, you know what I'm saying? Valuable
Okay.
information will be right around the corner. You would never know.
Yeah, but to put this in perspective, that information is not taught to you.
Yep.
So my son, he goes to school, and right now it's online. And this is my girl's son, but I take care of him, so pre-started family, but now I brought it back. I brought it together. But so he's in school and is online, and he's doing and he has to do like the stuff on his computer, and it's like independent study. And so me being me, I'm trying to make it as close to school as possible. So I'm like, hey, you wake up every day, get up, brush your teeth, get dressed, do your independent study, and then log on to the class when it's time for you to log into class. So if you have to log in at 8, do independent after. And so then we get an email letting us know that he's pretty much learned what he's supposed to learn for the 3rd grade. And we're like, that quickly? Isn't there a lot more he should learn? He's like, well, yeah, he can keep going to learn more, but he's pretty much learned everything he was going to learn in the school year. I was like, no, he didn't. There's still a lot more he could learn in the 3rd grade.
That's wild. Yes, sir.
And I'm just trying to say that just to put it in perspective. Like, even at a young age, you're not even given the full spectrum of the grade that you're in. They have to condense it. And so we're already starting not knowing shit, because they're not teaching us the full thing. They're only teaching us what they think is important. And to be honest, thinking about high school, none of that shit was important. None of it was.
Man.
My woodworking class came in more fucking handy
that
than,
shit was just
than
total
any
trauma.
of these fucking classes, dude. I'm being serious. Okay, math definitely came in handy. Math.
It depends on what level math you took.
Yeah, it depends.
I took Calc 1 and I was
took
like,
calculus.
this is
I've never
stupid.
had to fucking use it. Yeah, I've never had to use it.
Algebra definitely is life applicable. Trust me.
Yeah, algebra. Yes, algebra is. Then not really science, unless you're gonna go into science. I guess it would become handy. But a lot of stuff didn't become handy. A lot of my electives became more fucking handy in my life than the stuff I learned in school. And I feel like it should be the other way around. I feel like it definitely should be the other way around. I feel like there's not too much like push on understanding like you can be successful in other realms besides an artist or besides what you see on TV. Like, there's so many different things you could do. Believe me, so many different. Only reason why I'm attached to this is because my family's involved with this. My mom used to work for 106.1 KMEL in San Jose. So I have roots to radio and hip hop and stuff like that. That's why I want to be a part of it. And in the sense of that, I don't really want to be a rapper. Tried it. I've tried it. I enjoy making the music. I really enjoy making the music. I'm just not interested in the whole being a rapper thing. And then I'm watching people in these horror stories I'm watching unfold.
Man.
I'd rather be the guy above the club watching down. I'd rather be that guy. And it's more or less just, I guess, just realizing that I'm not the movie star guy. I'd probably be the worst celebrity because I'm not gonna
Just like all the celebrities.
Well, worse in the sense the people will probably love me because I'll probably be the most normal person you'll meet, because Shaggi Dashwood and Michael Cooks are completely the same person. They're the complete same person. So there's really not going to be too much of a celebrity. Because with my mom being in her work, I met a lot of people who are famous. A lot of 49er players, Raider players. My mom's got pictures of me with Keith Murray. She got pictures with me with a lot of stuff, a lot of people. So I'm not really starstruck. I'd probably see LeBron and dap him up and just move the fuck on. Like, they're just normal people to me. If I cut him open and he bled like green, I'd be fucking fascinated. I'd be like, dude, what are you? But they're all just normal fucking people that are just good at what they do. And I slowly figured out I don't want to be that person. I really don't want to be followed around all the time. And I'm finding out there's so many ways to make money in this. And I want to show people that you don't have to be in front of that camera to be involved in this industry, to work hand in hand with this industry, to work with the people in this industry. You don't need to be a rapper. You don't need to be a rapper, DJ, all this stuff. There's other stuff besides that. There's A&Rs. There's if you like fashion, you like dressing people up, fucking you can be what are they called? What's the people that people hire that they
like a fashion designer, some shit. Yeah.
A fucking fashion designer?
No, a fashion designer creates the clothes that the person that dresses them.
I don't know.
Wardrobe.
Oh.
It's called a...
Talking to the mic. Yeah.
So I can't remember what it's called. That's why I didn't want to bring... Oh.
No, you're good.
It's what Kim Kardashian used to do, how she got famous. Kim and I think Paris Hilton.
Yeah, what
they said
is
like...
No, the wardrobe designer is the person that picks out your wardrobe, but like, who's the stylist?
There you go,
Stylist.
There
we go.
Stylist.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm just saying. But even just thinking about that one thing, we just thought about 2 separate jobs. But that's my point.
Wild. That's wild. Yeah.
But that's my point. There are so many different ways to be involved with this shit, I'm being a rapper is not. There's more failures from people. I'm tired of seeing so many people fail in rap and then putting all their eggs in that, but not realizing there's probably a niche for you in this industry somewhere. But you're too focused on what they only show on that, and you're not realizing what's there. Like me, I've always been a student of the game of whatever I've been involved with. My dad's taught me that if you're gonna play basketball, sit down and watch basketball, and don't just watch the game. Watch your position. Watch what he does. Then if you have a question, ask me why he's doing that. Figure out what he's doing, why, and when you're supposed to do it. And you're supposed to have that understanding of the game, and you become better at the game when you know what when you know what is going on. So if you have all this information, and I'm sorry, I feel like I'm taking, and if you have all this time to do it, you should put that time in, because there's ain't just in producers. There's composers. There's engineers. There's just strictly sound engineers. There's strictly audio feedback engineers. Like there's so many things you can fucking do.
Yeah.
For voiceovers. You know, fucking video games. No, fucking how long it takes to voice over fucking video games. They have to have grunts in every key, every fucking distance away. So like there's so much things you can do. Instead of thinking you have to be involved with the shit you see on Instagram and Snapchat and whatever social media you indulge in. Because that's really all they push. It's those certain things. And we got to start pushing other ways people are making money in this shit. And start introducing those successful people. And just start doing, that's why I kind of created this, to kind of get away from doing the conventional the conventional rapperness. Like we love all our rappers and all that stuff do this, but that's not the main focus of this. That's why it's not as a hip hop show. It's just a show. I don't guarantee it's always gonna be an artist. I can guarantee it's gonna be someone interesting. But I can't guarantee it's always gonna be an artist. And I'm not gonna guarantee it, because I can guarantee it won't always be an artist. I'm hoping to get scientists and fucking chemists and judges and fucking people who can explain shit to us. Explain it to us. Everybody has the right to notice all this information. And it's gonna just mean it's gonna be more valuable just to have this information recorded and be able to look at it so you can keep coming back to it. And I'm just trying to change everybody's idea of what success is. Success isn't always being on TV and being celebrity and being known by everybody. Sometimes being successful is not knowing who you are, who they are at all. Like, for example, there's a boxer promoter named Al Heyman. He's got 5 photos on the internet. 5. And he's at every fight. He is part of Premier Boxing Championships. And he only has 5. People know what he looks like. But they don't know too much about him. But they know he's very fucking successful. His name is in everything that comes to PBC. And he has so many boxers. And that's what I'm trying to aim for. I don't want to be Don King. I want to be Al Heyman.
Well put. Well put.
And that reminds me, the title of the book was The $1 Trillion Coach, about Bill Campbell. So exactly what you're talking about, read that book, because you may not know who Bill Campbell is, but you know who the Zuckerbergers and the Gates are and all that stuff. So it kind of sounds like that's who you're going to be. Like, you're going to be the Bill Campbell, the guy who's just like, look, I'm finna coach y'all, train y'all. Y'all become trillionaires. I'm finna just chill in the cut.
I'll be right here, happy for you.
And the crazy thing is, too, I want to mention is, you know, the name of my company, AMC, Agape Master Crusaders. What I always tell people is learn to master your craft. Because I'm hoping you guys picked that up. What Shaggi was talking about is whether it's rapping, teaching, science, being a judge, whatever it may be, master that craft. You know, be good at the one gift that God gave you that said this is what's going to make you special. Learn to really master that craft. Because like he was naming off the different positions, just being in a producer, that might be part of your craft. Master it, study it, learn the ins and outs. Because, you know, whether you want to be a thousandaire, millionaire, trillionaire, whatever it may be, you can master that craft. The money's going to come. It's going to allow you to serve so many more people and put other people in a better position. You know, we've heard the saying, when the tide rises, all ships rise. That's how it's supposed to be. So when you start to elevate yourself and you master your craft, then you start to lift up other people and you put other people in better position. You know, that was mentioned before, is how can I put other people in a better position so they can be successful? And that's kind of how I see with finances. Like, on one end, look, you ain't got to be an entrepreneur, but guess what? Your money is going to be in order. So we're going to put you in a couple of products that you can use. Don't even touch them right now. But when you're 60, 70 years old, I guarantee you're going to be saying thank you. But then on the other end, if you are about entrepreneurship and building a business, man, what we teach here at my company is completely universal. So if you want to go start a hair care line or a t-shirt line or become a producer or whatever it may be, everything that we teach you over here, you just take it and use it over here in this field. It's just right now we're going to teach you about money, building a business, running a team, reading books, all that stuff. And then you just take that and transition to whatever you want to be. But the goal is to master your craft. It's something I preach all this, especially when I go to high schools, middle schools. I tell those kids, like, you may not know what you want to be when you grow up. So whenever an adult asks you that question, just tell them, I don't know. But when you find out what you're good at, master it. Because I'm guarantee you've probably noticed since you were like 9, 10, 11, like, you know what? I really like this. And you really just start to grow and build off that. So I wanted to kind of add on to his statement. But yeah, you dropping bars, man.
Oh yeah, and I want what's the time on that?
We are at 1:30.
Okay. Yeah, and then wanted to add on all that stuff, because I did go on a tangent, and I don't want anybody to think I'm some self-righteous person or some of that. Don't think of that, because I'm not.
I'm taking notes.
I'm not a perfect human being.
Nigga, you took half the show. I'm playing now.
I am not politically correct. I'm definitely not perfect whatsoever. Do not put me on a pedestal. I don't like being put on pedestals. Let me be your motivation or maybe your inspiration, but please don't put me on a pedestal, and I'm not perfect whatsoever. Because I can guarantee I'm going to get canceled 5 times in my lifetime. 5 times. I'm calling it now. I'm going to get canceled at least 5 times, especially about some shit I said. Because
of course, no doubt.
I have a filter to an extent.
That's off top.
To an extent, but I'm very honest. And now I know a lot of honest statements will be considered cancelable statements. But I just don't want anybody to what is it? Not like put me on a pedestal, but there's a word for it, and I just don't want that to happen. I don't want anybody to see like, oh, like what I'm saying is like my word is like, that's it. Because it's not. I still lack a lot of information. There is a lot of information I have yet to learn. I'm only relaying the information that I've learned so far. So please know I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still making fucking mistakes. Best believe there's times I'm still banging my head against that wall. It's still going on. So understand it's still a process, and no one in this earth is just completely stopped at their progress. If they are, they're dead. And you have to just keep going. And I just don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to be self-righteous or I'm on some kind of soapbox. I just really want people to understand there's certain way, there's a way successful people have been successful, and it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. You're not unique. There is a formula to this, and it has been proven for decades, centuries. It's been proven. Get out of that. Just get out of that headspace and thinking you're unique or you're special. I was the same way, and I found out the hard way that I'm not. I have to go through the same hills and bumps as the people that I idolized went through. So it is what it is.
And famous saying says, "Success leaves clues." It's true. Success leaves clues.
And so does failure. So does failure. Don't sign nothing without reading it. If you have questions, ask questions. Always. And I believe I get on my employer's nerves. I know I got on my employer's nerves. I know I got on my professor's nerves. I would ask question after question after question because I wanted to know. I didn't assume I knew anything. Even to the point like I'd ask a question the moment it came up, and he was probably gonna answer it right there. But I always kept the habit of asking, because as soon as you lose that habit, you're gonna start losing information. And that's the worst thing you could do. I treat information like I treat money. Do not leave that shit on the table.
For sure.
But yeah, fuck, man. I feel like I've taken up a lot of your time. But
Yeah, you solid.
But yeah, I'm just around someone who has like the same kind of like idea that I have, just in a completely different industry.
I'm rocking with it. And again, man, what you're saying is so life applicable. I don't want it just to be, oh, this is finance or this is music, man. What he's telling you guys can be applied to your life in any aspect. He said things about accountability. That's just something that we as a people, a community, a country, however you want to say it, we have lost that so badly. People don't want to stop and say, I take responsibility for this. That's one just major aspect that we got to get a grasp of. And then the second thing is, okay, once you've taken accountability, what are you going to do with it? Like when you pick up a book and you have the information, what are you going to do with it? You have to apply the information. Then once you apply it, hey, you got to see it through. You know, whether it takes you 4 months, 5 months, 4 years, 10 years, you got to see it through. You got to trust the process. And then when you get to the end and things are looking a little good and you got some money and you're on vacation or wherever it may be, how can I go back and teach it to somebody else? So that's not just business. That's in everything that you do. It's just, first thing you got to do, take accountability. The second thing is realize that I'm not perfect, like he said. And then the third thing is, okay, I need to find something that I'm good at, that I can thrive at, and then go there. And one thing that people, I thought you were going to touch on it, because you're a sharp guy. You're a very sharp guy. But people get mixed up is they confuse like their life purpose to the place that they're in now. So they might work at the post office, but they really do want to be a rapper, right? But if you want to be independent, you got to make money. You got to fund yourself. You got to work. You got to keep your apartment. So keep that job at the post office, but be writing on the side. Keep that job at the post office, but, you know, continue to meet and work with different producers. So as you're working at the post office and you're doing that process, you're also working on your rap. You're working on your career. You're working on your craft. Don't just sometimes just go all in on rap and then you fail and you're like, well, what happened? I don't have any money. sometimes you got to do both. Sometimes you got to work both processes. Yeah, you might feel like your purpose is through your music to where you can reach this and that crowd, or make this certain beat or connect with these certain people. But guess what? Right now, what's getting you through right now is working at 9 to 5, working that job. So I don't want you guys to miss that either to where you feel like you just got to be homeless, figure it all out, start from the bottom. Some people, that's not their journeys.
No.
Some people, they're just, they got to work a job, like me. I'm in financial services, but technically I'm part-time and full-time. I do private security. So I work with, I work with different companies. If they have a contract and the money's right and the gig is good, hey, I'll take it. But if I don't want to work it, I don't have to work it. So I do private security, but my main focus is PHP because I understand that I enjoy entrepreneurship. I enjoy, reading and attending conferences. I enjoy helping others. I enjoy sitting down with families. And when I get to the level to where, I'm making $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month in the business, then I may not do private security, but I actually really enjoy working private security and working with different clients. So I just wanted to add that in there, that if you're going through some type of process and you have to work a 9 to 5, hey, you better work that 9 to 5 and you better hustle. But at the same time, start to master your craft. Start to find out what you're good at.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely want to have you on again. But next time you and your son got to come dressed up as Black Superman and Black Spider-Man.
He'll take your whole show. Just
That's cool.
know.
That's
he'll
cool.
Because he can talk. Oh my goodness, he can talk.
That's cool. That'd be great. That'd be dope. That'd be really dope just to have you guys on here and talk. And then also have you back on here, kind of just like if you can come up with mock policies and stuff, and kind of just have more stuff that we can kind of show and give more of a visual to people to kind of like, this is what it looks like. Kind of like if this person's like this, this is someone you don't want to mess with. Like, give them examples of stuff, because I feel like there's more stuff we can expand. And just today we're a little crunched. We're just a little crunched on time with other stuff we have going tonight. And but I definitely want to make sure we get you in again, because your information is in, like, that information, your kind of information is invaluable. Like, we interview people and get to know their stories and stuff. But the in my opinion, their story is very valuable. It's very valuable, and I get to know. But the valuable information that I'm trying to get is the process it gets to becoming the person you are. The other anecdotal stuff is very important too, but I like to get to. I'm very straightforward. I'm a straight shooter. I like to get to the meat and potatoes. I like to get straight to it. Being serious, I like to get straight to it. All the other stuff is great and it's really good, and I'm very in another setting. I'm very interested in to hear that. But I mainly want to get to the information that's going to help people get who they want to be. Whatever it is, whatever you are, artist, cook, welder, whatever it is, I want you to get the information out to let someone know what it's like, and if someone's trying to get into it, what to do to get into it.
Absolutely. And again, even in the financial services, it's not hard. It's just, you said it before, it's not necessarily that it's easy. It's just you're constantly learning, you're constantly growing, and you got to have a love for people. I'm just telling you that right now. If you want to be in finances and
learn how to take the word no,
and learn, oh my goodness, no.
Rejection.
Once it's not even thick skin, but once you get thick skin and you get some rejection, you're like, all right, cool. It is what it is. But you understand what your crusade is. But no, I would definitely come back anytime. Like I said, my son will still your host show, because once he start talking,
we could do it.
And he's sharp. He is sharp. You can ask him questions,
I'm down.
And he asks great questions. But I'll definitely come back, and I could talk more about it. I can talk about not even just life insurance, but retirement planning, money, statistics. I'm always constantly learning and watching videos. So again, if you want to learn more, definitely go to my YouTube.
Make sure you shout out all your channels and stuff, and then make sure you send all that information to Cavi so we can put that in the description and make sure everybody gets to use. And then always feel free to send us any promotional stuff that you want to get promoted, like if you're having seminars or just any stuff in general. Please make sure you send it to us, because my page is just open for people just to send me stuff to post. I really don't post myself. That's really what I use my Instagram for, is just post and share people's stuff when they want to share it. Or if I see something that they're doing is dope, I'll just share it anyway if I click it and it gives me the option to. I feel like if you're any kind of self-business and independent, that should be something you're allowed to do. I should be able to go to your page and see something dope. I want to share my homie stuff. I get so mad when I see something dope and I try to share it and I can't share it. I'm like, then what was the point if you don't want to be successful if you don't want to let people share the stuff? You want to, because I'm always looking at dope stuff and I'm always trying to help push it, because I'm hoping, hey, one day if I share something, what if I get a message from some bigwig that says, hey, who is the dude you posted on your story, or that song you posted in the story? I can be like, oh, that's whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Here's all this information. Go talk to him. And just leave it at that. That's the kind of things I'm thinking about, because that's the shit my dad taught me. Like, I got that lesson just out of one thing he taught me was always make sure you look presentable, because you never know who's your future boss. You never know who you run into that's your future boss. So always make sure you look presentable and you act a certain way, because you never know who you run into. And you'll be surprised. There's stories of someone being in the club talking shit to somebody. They go to an interview 2 days later, and it's the same person they got into it with.
Yep. Every time.
So it happens. But yeah, definitely want to have you on. I really appreciate you coming on. It's a real change of pace. It's a real change of pace, and I really enjoy this change of pace. And we definitely got to have your son on. We got it dressed up, the whole nine.
Hey, I'll wear the Superman outfit. Yeah, trust me.
Tell him they can only come, and I'll bring my little man over. So if he gets bored on the show, they can go run in the back, play
the whole show. Trust me. But yeah, no. Definitely check out our videos. Again, Marc, M-A-R-C, Cooks, C-O-O-K-S, inspires 5 Minutes of Finance, Bigger, Better Business is some of my interviews. Your money motivationals on there. Marc Cooks is on Facebook. AMC Financial, that's the name of my team, my company. You follow us on there. And then most of my posts are Black Superman _AMC. And that's what I am on Instagram. So check me out on there. You get a bunch of content. You know, I post funny stuff, financial stuff, family stuff, everything on there. So definitely follow me there. And yeah, when you have me back, man, I look forward to it. I really do. This, like I said, you've been preaching to me, and I'll be like this is what I'm talking about all the time.
I feel a little bad.
No, you say it like in a different way, towards like, yeah, you guys can hear from me. Y'all see my messages every single Monday. I even text. I have a text group I send every Monday, and I'll be like, man, this is the same stuff I be preaching to y'all. So maybe if you hear it from a different voice, then you'll see why I say what I say. Because me and you, we have a similar mindset. So
definitely, man. Once again, we really appreciate you coming on. Well, let's get to this. Y'all want to give y'all thanks and for him coming on.
Mr. Backwoody Harrison at Shaolin Fat Backwoods on Instagram and everywhere else you can find me. I'm out everywhere. Ignorant dropping next week, Saturday.
You got anything to say?
Yeah, hey, it was a pleasure having you, man. I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
You need to come back for sure, though.
Yeah, for sure. Now you got me thinking about my money and shit. You got me like, fuck, you know what I'm saying?
So y'all need to take his information down.
I'm sleeping right now. Like,
make sure you get his information down.
Definitely.
Y'all can sit and have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this was the Add Me to Your Playlist podcast. Hey. I'm your boy Shaggy Dashwood. I was here with Professor Oak, DJ Cavi Slow, guest appearance by Mr. Shaolin Backwoods.
Appreciate you coming through, man.
Mr. Shaolin Fat Backwoods, but Mr. Backwoody Harrison. And hey, we'll see you guys again. God bless. Hope everybody stays safe. Oh yeah.
I'ma see you in the street, thanks for nothing, nigga. Nah, it ain't beef, but I ain't fucking with you. You think I'm plotting on the creep, about to come and get you? Nah, it ain't beef, but I ain't fucking with you. I seen your bitch and you meet with your other nigga. Nah, it it ain't beat, but I ain't fucking with you. I'm about to pour another drink, smoke another swish. I told you, nah, it ain't beat, but I ain't fucking with you. I ain't fucking with you. When I first met you, you was fucking nasty hoes. Always freestyling with them nasty flows. You was the homie cousin, thought she was really bustin'. It was 10th grade back when the bitches start really fucking. Nothing was on my mind but football and ass. It's a damn shame today I missed all my classes. I used to let you roll, introduce you to the homies. You fell in love with hoes, now you act like you don't know me. You be lying to yourself till you blue in the face. I never thought you was a threat, but I knew you was fake. You did some bitch shit and now you don't kick it no more. You got it twisted and think I wanna kick in your dome. But if anything you learned from me was that I don't fuck with tricks, bitches, and hoes. I keep quick on my toes. You chose to do some hoe shit, thought it was sweet. Yeah, your whole style, you got it from me. Yeah, I'ma see you in the street, thanks for nothing, nigga. Nah, it ain't beef, but I ain't fucking with you. You think I'm plotting on the creek, about to come and get you? Nah, it ain't beef, but I ain't fucking with you. I seen your bitch and your meet with your other nigga. Nah, it ain't beef, but I ain't fucking with you. I'm about to pour another drink, smoke another swish. I told you, nah, it ain't beef, but I ain't fucking with you. I ain't fucking with you. When I first met you, it was around 94. Junior high, but I knew you was a dime for sure. You had a couple friends, they wanted my homies, and we would ditch, go to your house, smoking your mama's van. Well, kept in touch, you wrote letters from school, never tried to make